So Andrea's, they didn't care about the strippers. They didn't care about the bridal shower, whatever it's called. They only cared about the size of Andrea's bra and the size of hexadecimal's bosoms. And in the end, we'd had enough of it, and we just went, to hell with it. And we made both characters' boobs way bigger. And then they sent us notes back, said, these boobs are too big! And we made the boobs smaller, and they said, okay, but we were like giggling because we knew they were now bigger than they were originally. It's like, if you want to get away with something, push it out here, and they push it back, and it's further than us, so.
And then you're on lethal weapon.
And then,
we have one way in the back.
Can you laugh like hexadecimal?
okay, that's it. Okay.
Excellent.
I said you'd have to do this.
Another question right here.
I was wondering, who did the voice for Damon? Damon.
That was a French. Yeah, we did cast it here. We tried to cast it here, and I think the girl who came closest was the girl who did the original Andrea voice, which was Andrea Lippman. Little Andrea. She came in because she could do it French kind of, and we had her, and it was all so very close, and then the decisions were made, and they went.
Because we love doing, if you watch any of our shows that we have creative control of, we love to do a palette of colours, a palette of voices, a palette of characters. And we like all the voices to be, different, unique. And yeah, Andrea did a lovely job. But it was like, well, no, that's French. That's an English girl doing a French accent. Let's get a French-Canadian girl who isn't doing an accent at all. So we cast for a French-Canadian actress, so that is her real accent. And there's different nuances to the phrasing if you listen to what a quote-unquote genuine accent rather than somebody putting on an accent. So yeah, her name was Colombe de Mers, I believe.
She was recorded separately. Yeah, she was recorded wherever you guys were done.
Down the line from
Oh, yeah. But what's interesting, a lot of people may not know, is the characters of Mike the TV and Fong and those guys were recorded after, because I was in the session as the director. So we recorded, and I would do sort of like mock-up in the session and then have to go in after the show and do my lines. So when you hear them all together talking to each other, Fong was never talking to the rest of the group. True. Sorry, one more. That was, what's his name? Donald Gibson, which was Mel Gibson's brother. And we recorded him in Los Angeles. And it's funny because Donald Gibson, if you ever watch any Mel Gibson movie, you will see Donald Gibson somewhere. He's got a bit of and he looks nothing like Mel Gibson, but sounds exactly like Mel Gibson. It was uncanny, and he was one of the nicest guys that I'd ever worked with. But yeah, we recorded him in LA. So.
those guys at the end of the wait.
Yeah, you guys are not saying anything.
Any questions for Scott McNeil?
Who would like to hear from Scott? Come on. Who on earth is Scott McNeil? Hello. Lord. Beast Wars voices. Insect famine. Perhaps you'd like me to take you out the old-fashioned way. Oh, Tilly! You would like to see a trade there, Dino Boob. Or should I say lizard lips? I was kidding about the lizard lips. Oh man, we're all gonna die. No more fighting, no more fighting. Fighting gives rise beneath your headache in his whole body. And of course, Silverbolt, strong, proud, brave, and smart like a sack of hammers.
you've had yours. Gonna get this one right here, new one.
Did you know from the very beginning that Nibbles was going to be the dad when he first did the show?
Spoilers. What was the question?
Did we know from the Nibbles was going to be Dobson and dad?
I didn't know Nibbles was done.
Okay, come on, out with it.
Nibbles, as you may, these guys don't even know this. The little squishy thing that Megabyte used to play with sometimes was a null called Nibbles. And we threw out breadcrumbs throughout the seasons where like Megabyte would squeeze in to make him squeak and he'd call him father and things like that. It was all like, so that all these guys were going, what did he just say? Did he say father? Yeah, so no, we sort of, when you're doing stuff like that, you throw out the breadcrumbs. You don't necessarily know where those breadcrumbs are going to lead you. You kind of have an idea, but you don't necessarily have an idea. And if you guys remember, in later seasons, Jelly Welly appeared, which was the man made of nulls, who was Dot Nenzo's dad, because he was nullified in the explosion that destroyed the Twin City, yada yada yada. Yeah, Dale Wilson did that. Dale was a guy who...
Still alive.
Who is, I'm sorry, was in the context of the show.
Yeah, he's glad he was the
Man from Glass.
He's the man from Glad, Dale Wilson, yes. He originally tried out for Megabyte. We ended up going with Tony. We then actually used him as fake Megabyte in an episode in season 1. And we got him to really ham it up and do it really badly, like a really crappy impression of the one like, you fools, he's gone to the vid window. And he did it all over the top. And then later, as a sort of reward for not using him for Megabyte and for treating him very shabbily, we brought him back and used him as Dot Nenzo's dad. Yeah, so.
Wow. Question.
Yes. Oh, okay, you want to embarrass me? Okay. Sharon's just asked me, well, you tell the story. All right, okay. Sharon's just reminded me that in season 3, where Bob forces a restart of the system and they allow the system to crash and hope that there is a user and that the user will restart the system. And if you remember, there was that's the closest we ever got to the user. A lot of people gave us the business about the fact that in the opening monologue, Bob says, you know, they say the user lives outside the net and inputs games for pleasure. I intend to find out. And a lot of people online, I've actually seen lines online going, Bob's a liar. Because he said he was going to find out and he never did. What a liar. And it's like, we didn't write that line. A guy in LA wrote that line and the network really liked it and we left it in. But the closest we ever wanted to get to the user was in season 3, where the system crashes, the screen goes black, and then you get the typing, the tip-tap, tip-tap-tap, and it's like, you know, system crash, restart, question mark, yes, and it's like, oh, there is a user. Or at least that was what we were going for. And we did it, and we animated it, and we put it in the show, and we finished the show and everything, and then one day we're all watching the show back, viewing the show back, and we all sort of went, why didn't it say ReBoot? That was a head slap moment. Oh, ReBoot. Oh. Yeah.
Someone in the center.
Could have called the show Restart.
Restart.
So someone in the center had their hand up? Yeah, there we are.
I know you have the name like Megabyte and those kind of computer names, but you name your main character Bob. It's like, yeah, Megabyte, cool, oh, this computer name. And it's like, the main character, oh, what?
Yeah, why is Bob called Bob? Because we wanted the hero to be an everyman and we wanted him to have a simple one-syllable name. These days, if you watch TV, it's Jack. All the heroes are called Jack. Jack Bauer, Jack O'Neill. Jack is the cool name these days. Jack got lost, yes. We wanted Bob to have a simple, one-syllable name that was an everyman kind of name. Plus, the other half of the story is we were back in England at the time watching TV while we were creating the show and stuff. And Blackadder was on TV, you know the show Blackadder? And season 2 of Blackadder, the first episode of season 2, has a girl who dresses as a boy to become Blackadder's manservant and falls in love with him and yada yada yada. And she calls herself Bob. And we loved the way that Rowan Atkinson said Bob. You know, he did the, you know, so Bob. And we thought it was very funny, and we sort of saw that as karma, because it was during, we were having this conversation about Bob's name,